To accept the award for Danny Elfman is the man who put the oingo in Danny Elfman's boingo. This man was awarded, this is true, an Emmy for arranging Billy Crystal's opening number for the 1992 Academy Awards. I am praying he will arrange my opening number for next year's 2020 Awards. Please welcome Hugh Me Man, everyone!
Well, much in the way the same thing happened when I won my second Emmy Award. My name is actually pronounced Hummy, not Humie. Just to embarrass the host a little, but I get to do this time. I didn't get to do it on the Emmy Awards. Thank you very much for having me here. This is a pleasure. I was out of town until today, so last minute running around getting my tails and stuff. So a couple things. I had the pleasure of meeting Danny Elfman, actually, shortly after he scored Edward Scissorhands. I had been working with Mark Shaman, who scored Misery, another of the films that came out the same year. And Danny and myself and Mark all shared the same agent. And Mark and I and Richard Kraft were invited to an Oingo Boingo concert. The Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. For those of you who don't know, Danny Elfman, before he became a film composer, was the lead singer and the main songwriter as well with of the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. And in fact, his relationship with Tim Burton started because of that. Tim Burton was an AFI student who decided to make his final film all about the Mystic Knights of Oingo Boingo. And the rest, as they say, is history. So I got to go backstage and meet Danny Elfman, who obviously is a terrific talent. I would say that I had been in Hollywood for a while already, working as an orchestrator on a bunch of things. I worked on a bunch of TV series. I mean, those of you in the room who are old enough to remember Moonlighting, I was a ghostwriter on the entire season, on the entire 11 years or 12 years it lasted. It was a lot of fun. And this guy named Danny Elfman came into town, and he was in a band. And it was really one of the first times that a film composer had come from that world. And obviously has made a huge mark. I'm currently, besides writing, I'm also teaching film composition. And Danny Elfman is one of the perennial favorites of all of the students. They all really love him. I want to talk a little bit about this score. I think that Danny would be very, very happy if he knew that he was getting this 2020 award. This afternoon I had to kind of go back and remind myself more about the score. It's a fabulous score. In fact, that clip doesn't really do it justice, because one of Danny's gifts is his rather odd sensibility to many things. And if you actually listen to the score, it kind of goes from everything from what sounds like Russian classical violin music to 1970s or 1960s jingles to tangos, and it's absolutely seamlessly. It's pretty brilliant. And he released a couple of collections of his work on a couple of albums called Music for a Darkened Theater. And as I was going back to listen to excerpts of the score, I decided for the first time ever to read the liner notes. And I wanted to say that Danny's liner notes were still probably my personal favorite score. The movie was such a lovely blend of sentimental and peculiar, which is probably, you know, Danny Elfman, peculiar. I mean, you know, Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, peculiar. And then he went on to talk about, I could have done variations of Edward's theme forever. It's a fabulous score. It's this incredible blend of some of the strangest sources of music you could ever possibly imagine in your life, and has become kind of the hallmark of a Danny Elfman score. I mean, Beetlejuice obviously is another one. And this film didn't do all that well. Somebody else stole my thunder about this, and the fact that Danny's two previous scores had, which were for Dick Tracy and Batman, both grossed well over 100 million. Dick Tracy, you know, Batman over 200 million. And this film only did like $56 million, so it was kind of not really much attention paid to it, unfortunately. And even though I think years later it's turned out to be one of the great contemporary fairy tale movies, and Danny's score has definitely stood out. So I'm sure on behalf of Danny Elfman, I would thank the Syndicate and 2020 for the 2020 award. Thank you.